Hi, I'm Mark Clegorn and welcome to the Photographer Academy, and today we're talking all about Smugmug. Why? Well, it's one of the most frequent questions that I get asked because I talk about it quite a lot on the business kind of workshops and seminars that I do at shows. Well, Smugmug is a lot of things for different people, and it's different for pretty much everybody who uses it. But it's broken into different sections. As Smugmug say, it's for you, your business or your family. So by that it means, well, I suppose we're a perfect example. My wife uses it as a photo album to show where we've been on holiday, to actually show our friends and family any events that we've kind of been to and so on. So it's a real way that she can get to share her photographs. Whereas the boys here at the Photographer Academy, they're great photographers in their own right, but they tend not to sell them. So they kind of just use it to collect their images and to show the world their great kind of iPhone photography or their kind of 35mm stuff. But for me, I'm a business. And for me as a business, it means I need to show my clients and be able to sell to my clients. And that's really the true power for me of Smugmug. It's through its awesome simplicity in its design for me to be able to kind of drag and drop images, to upload them, to look at the different designs by dragging and dropping again, the kind of social media, kind of dropping in my logo, different page designs. It allows me to get a kind of a unique look to the feeling that I want of the site on that day. And the modern designs are there to allow us to kind of go in and change our look with a minimal of effort without having to have that real expertise that once upon a time we used to have. As I mentioned, it's available for kind of different people in different kind of uses. So there's different options there, different plan pricing, and you get the different kind of levels. But for me, I go for the business one because obviously I'm going to be selling my photographs to that client. And it's a portal or my shop window where the client is going to go and visit, as I said, and go and see their wedding photographs or their portrait photographs. Or if it's a commercial client, it enables them to be able to go there and kind of see their recent shoot and even be able to kind of right click and download. And one of the great things about Smugmug as well, it's security. And we're going to be kind of talking about this in 4 simple sections that I kind of explain. It's for showing, so in other words, to show the world. We'll talk about that in depth. We're looking at sharing, how we kind of use it not only to share the images around to clients, but also through social media. We're going to be looking at storage, which is probably the most important things for many photographers to kind of store their high-res kind of files, whether it's JPEG or video file off-site. They can all be stored on the site. There's no kind of limitations that we have as far as the amount of files that we can store, just at times the file size itself, but even that is extreme. And of course, one of the most important parts for me is the selling, because I need to be able to make money from our industry. That's what I'm about, that's my occupation. So the showing, the sharing, the storing, and of course the selling are the key points that we're going to be looking at now in this next section. For me, probably the most important thing is the showing of my photography. After all, that's how I got into photography in the first place, is showing my friends and family what I was seeing through my eyes. And that's no different today as a pro photographer, because I want to actually show my clients the images in the best way I can. Even my albums and frames are chosen specifically to suit my style and my look. So when we get to the website, how I kind of make the look and feel and navigation for the site has to reflect not only me and my personality, but also the style of my photography. One of the great things about Smugmug straight off the bat is all those modern designs, those dozens of themes that are instantly available for us to be able to actually use and change the style that we want our photographs to be displayed in. And it's good to know that each one of those themes is mobile friendly. They're responsive, so I can guarantee that the client's going to get a great experience viewing their gallery of images, whether they're working on a mobile phone or they're viewing them on a tablet. In addition to the different themes, we've got also the galleries, and the galleries themselves can have an individual shape and style. So whether I'm choosing to show my photographs as collage or even the journal, I know that the user can actually view the photographs in the way that I'm showing them, instead of just a kind of a standard look throughout the whole website itself. Let's not forget that, designing a website is a scary thing. But using the simple drag and drop facilities that Smugmug give us to completely change even their own themes to give a different feel and functionality, allowing it to be completely unique to us and our design, allows us to confidently go in there and change things, knowing that we're not going to break everything. And another great feature of Smugmug, of course, is being able to show video along with photographs, whether it's on a gallery or on a page. Sharing. Well, we live in a social world, so like it or not, we're going to have to be sharing our images. And as a business, of course, it's in our interest to share images in some way, as long as it kind of links back to us. That's the most important thing. And Smugmug allows us to do that. We can share directly from our gallery ourselves. We can even allow the client to share that image from the gallery. There are certain restrictions, especially if you apply some kind of protection to the gallery with password protection. But sharing the images is absolutely key, and we can share with confidence. As I mentioned, if I share an image or a client shares an image and they put it to Facebook, then it basically always brings them back to my gallery that that image was from. So I kind of know the way the client is going to be viewing that image, of course, and that's bringing it back to me. And if you're using the social icons like we can use on Smugmug, it's a great way to kind of really build up your likes, specifically if you're an events photographer or a wedding photographer. Even a kind of the family portraits is a way to actually start your likes kind of really building up using that social media, kind of socializing with images. And the other option we've got is to be able to email an image directly from the site itself, and that's just not me, that's a client as well, which once more will bring them back to our site. We can also allow friends to upload images into a certain gallery, which can be password protected as well. I use that in a way on workshops, in fact, really now with the groups that are on the workshop with me, I allow them all to upload the images and make comments as well. And comments on all of the galleries, in fact, can be switched on and off. When we talk about sharing images, we must touch on privacy as well, or protecting our images. And what Smugmug allows us to do is switch on or off the right-click protection. And if a client is trying to use the right click on a mouse to kind of save or copy the image, a simple message is going to be shown. We've also got other privacy options there, which are watermarking the images on the upload. So whether it's the simple proof that Smugmug comes with, or it's kind of customizing the look with our own logo. We can also kind of password protect our gallery, and we can also unlist a gallery at any stage. You can share your images with confidence, relying that kind of Smugmug's got our back, of course. Storing of images in this digital age you wouldn't think would be any problem compared to the days of film where, you know, shooting 1,000 clients a year, 100 weddings a year, plus our commercial, plus we had to hang on to our negatives for 6 years under contract law in UK. You can imagine our negative vault was just immense, and we were soon kind of pleased to get rid of 1 year's lot of negatives when we used to burn them all off. But of course in this digital world we seem to be hanging on to everything, not only the raw files, but all the kind of the different levels of JPEG file and so on with it. And one of the great things about Smugmug, one of the first things actually to draw me to them was their offsite storage. And for me, that is one of the key things, is being able to store offsite with confidence and know that wherever I am in the world, I can re-download one photograph or that whole group of images. But of course, to store stuff, you first of all got to upload it. So the current load options are the on-site loader, of course. Then we've got plugins for Aperture and Lightroom. There's also the ability to be able to drag directly from Photoshop Bridge, as well as from the likes of iPhoto, Picasa, and of course, Simple Folders. So of course you can upload the simple JPEG, as well as any animated or static GIFs, as well as PNG, any primary video format, including MP4, MOV, AVI, and H.264. The JPEG is obviously our photographs. They're up to 50 megabyte in size each, but of course we're unlimited with the amount that we can store off-site. As far as video is concerned, it's a maximum of 3 gigabyte in its file size, with up to 1080p resolution, and its clip is capped at 20 minutes. That means that you're kind of not limited to the amount of clips you can store on Smugmug. And I mentioned about downloading, a perfect example recently where one of my commercial clients got in touch. I was away on holiday, they needed one of their food photographs rapidly, and I hadn't finished it fully, so I was able to download it from the Smugmug site myself, finish it in Photoshop, and then kind of re-upload it, ready for the client to actually purchase it online straight away with it. So it allows me to pretty much sell my photography anywhere in the world and still be able to work on some of my images from wherever I am in the world as well. So selling's the last section, and selling is not a dirty word by any means. As an amateur photographer, I aspired to be selling my images, and as a pro photographer, I aspire to be selling my images for a lot more money. That's the kind of the key thing with it. And what Smugmug allows us to do, depending on the kind of the plan that you take out, it allows you to kind of go in there and custom make your price list depending on the gallery. So whether it's a wedding, might have a different price list to a portrait. A commercial will definitely have a different price list to a portrait. So it's kind of fitting it in and around your clients and in and around your style. And that's what Smugmug, the business part that I use, is really all about, that individualization, that I can custom do everything to the client that I want. The first thing that you need to do, of course, when you've kind of decided to be selling your images, is to kind of maximize the online sales. And online sales can really generate you a large income during the course of the year without kind of really trying. And so many photographers are bad salesmen because we really get into photography for the love of photography, the love of our images, and the last thing we think about is actually selling them. So once we've kind of got to our place in our head that we want to sell our images now, we've got to decide on a price list. And pricing is very much individual to just you, and obviously you've got to come up with your own prices dependent on the kind of the work that you do and so on. But the individual image or the individual gallery can be priced by itself, in fact, really. So I'm not just setting a price list as a global across all of my galleries, but I can kind of choose specific price lists using the business plan as the kind of the price for that one gallery itself, and that's absolutely key to remember. And then within that one gallery, I might have one image that I might want to put at a higher price or a lower price, and that's an option that it gives me as well with it. So when I'm setting up my price list, this then gives me the option to specify the lab I'm going to use. In this case, I'm based in UK, so I would set my currency to UK pounds, of course. I would choose the UK lab, which would be Loxley Colour, which just happens to be the lab that I use all the time anyway. And from within here, this is where we start to then go in and choose the different products. Now, Smugmug overall has 1,200 products online today, and obviously, you know, you'd be a bit foolish really if you want to offer them all, because it'll just kind of confuse the client. So choose specifically what you want and what you want to sell across your kind of site here. Because remember, what you're building at this stage is the first level of an e-commerce site. Once you start to kind of put a price to something, then really this is where it's kind of going to be taken off to the kind of the buy-in options that the client is going to be faced with. So once I've set my currency and once I've kind of set the products that I want to use, then we kind of we apply it to a gallery or a whole group of galleries if they haven't had a price list applied for now. But it also, in the price list itself, allows us to kind of give the options for the likes of digital downloads. And probably that would be the most significant sale for me in the recent years compared to at the beginning of digital for me, which began back in 1997. But as far as the digital sales online, the likes of stills and video, of course, allow the client now to directly download an image, whether it's a low resolution image or a high resolution image. That's really down to myself to actually price out or decide on. There's also the options to do with a proof delay, and this is to do with the kind of the setup, but I can apply a proof delay that if a client buys the image, instead of it going straight off to the chosen lab, I kind of get notification that they've bought the image, and then this allows them to kind of come back to me. In other words, I've got no notification. They've just bought image number 234, 239 and 270, and it gives me a chance to kind of look at them, re-edit them if I need to, if I haven't done any finishing, which is quite common for me on a wedding because I don't finish all 500 to 600 images. So I'll just kind of finish those images, then re-upload them into the gallery and then okay the order. The other great thing that Smugmug allows me to do is kind of add that little bit more personalization to the shopping cart and the branding element. So in other words, I can add my logo into the shopping cart itself, but more importantly, in the delivery system, I can add a sticker and a card into the package itself. So a sticker can be on the outside of my packaging, which obviously comes directly from the lab, but I can also put like a thank you card within the box, or I could, as I do, I put a voucher in there for them to spend. Because one of the great things as well on the likes of the selling kind of environment within Smugmug, we have the options to use the coupons, and the coupons can be a money off, a discount, several ways for you to actually kind of encourage the clients to be buying from you. We use that specifically around our weddings as well, which is kind of quite successful in the way that we run it. So as far as sales are concerned, absolutely essential for the future of the professional photographer, and online sales, of course, specifically based around the likes of weddings and events. It's a great way to be selling your photographs. Smugmug makes it so simple for us to sell to our clients. So in addition, of course, you've got the super support from the Smugmug Heroes available 24/7 for any kind of questions that you might have to maximize your site or any little tweaks that you might want to do. Simply log into your site, go to the top right hand corner and you'll see the question mark. All you need to do is click onto that, and that'll take us off to the help.smugmug.com page. And there I can either type in a question to get some simple solutions straight away, or I can click on the contact us to take me off to the awesome support heroes. And then all the marketing that is initially built into every SmugMug site based on the SEO settings in SmugMug, and they really help you make your site visible to the world. And you can optimize your site by just going into your account settings, go into discovery and search, and then this is where all the kind of the SEO settings are going to be applied. Things like the homepage metadata and the homepage keywording are absolutely key. And then switching on the likes of the site visibility, allowing SmugMug to pick up on any keywords that you have within your files, as well as obviously kind of filling in your site metadata title. Awesome ways to get your site visible straight away using the simple tools that SmugMug gives us. And what I've just done there is answer the question, what is SmugMug? I've just kind of talked about the tip of the iceberg, really. There's so much more that you get within the whole SmugMug experience that you're not going to regret it. And within a very short time, you're going to be able to build yourself a website that is yours, that is personal to you, that looks sexy through the designs, as well as being able to be personal by its kind of tweaking with the drag and drop facilities to enable you to make it truly your own website. So I'm Mark Clegg for the Photographer Academy. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.